This is what I use to extract my honey. I don't have the money or the space or the need for a centrifugal extractor. I only have 5 hives, 2 of which didn't produce enough that I really felt I needed to take any honey out of, and so I just crush and strain. It's a lot more economical, it's a lot simpler, and I can break this down and it stores in a very small space in the garage. Alright, so basically, just a table with a hole cut in it. Inside the hole goes a metal steamer. Metal steamer I got from the thrift store. Around the bottom of the steamer, I put a nylon paint strainer from Home Depot, just a couple of bucks. This strains out any chunks of wax and propolis that make it through the holes of the strainer. It's kind of a tight fit. Especially when it's sticky, as it is now. There we go. There. So the paint strainer goes around the outside of the steamer. I use a steamer because it's stainless steel, very strong, won't break. This is used to press the wax. I'll put it in later. And then you need something for it to go into. I generally use these 5-gallon water jugs. Use these spouts and just pour it right out when you need it. This is a 10-inch funnel that I got from a brewery shop. It just goes in there, slides underneath the steamer like that. Let's see.
Oh, you already take.
I'm doing it now. Thank you. You're in the video.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, bothering you.
I think everybody will enjoy that. So I just use a steak knife to cut out the honeycomb. I only do about 1 frame at a time. It's just not more efficient to do more than one. You get too much in there and you can't squeeze the honey out of it. So this is just the piece of wood that I cut out of the table, and a stovetop cover, which just kind of gives it a harder surface to press with. Busy neighborhood this weekend. Then this is just a crossbar. You notice there's 2 bars. That's to keep the threaded rod a little bit straighter. It's just a 1 foot, a 12-inch length of 1/2-inch threaded bar. Now I have welded a nut onto the end of it here. You do not have to do that if you do not have a if you do not have a welder. What you can do is put 2 nuts on the end. Put 2 nuts on the end like that and tighten them against each other, and then you can turn against the nut and it'll act pretty much the same. Welding it just makes it more permanent. For a 1/2-inch bar, there's a hole drilled through these two cross boards here that the threaded rod goes through. So you put it through the first one, put on the water, and this is a 3/4 inch ratchet. Right? So, in order to keep it, where did they go? Oh, they're in my pocket. In order to hold it steady, I just use a couple of these. I made the holes a little bit too small, so it's kind of hard to get them in there. In my next revision, I will make these holes bigger, because it is a pain to get it in, and a bigger pain to get it out. Especially when I have it on backward. There we go. So you go in there, and there we go. They don't have to be all the way in, just enough to grab the wood. Okay. Like I said, normally I just back it up a little bit, take it off, replace the honeycomb, screw it back down. Now, in order to avoid damaging the wood that I'm pressing with, I just use the end cap for a piece of pipe. Gives it there we go. It's all the way down. We are ready to start pressing. Now normally I just press it directly into the container, into the water jug, but in order to show you how it works, I'm going to instead use a 5-gallon bucket so that you can see the honey coming out. Now, you can use a wrench if you want. That works fine, except you have to stand there and hold it. If you have one, I recommend a locking clamp. And we are ready to press. So as you can see, well, there we go. As you can see, it is crushing the honeycomb. Honey is actually oozing out a little bit around the press board. Most of it, however, is going through the holes of the steamer and being strained by the nylon paint strainer, and is pouring into the bucket. I already strained a little bit. This is not all from that one frame of honeycomb. Alright, now, like I said, normally I would do this in the garage, otherwise I end up with a dozen dead bees in my honey. I have considered building a little net cage around this so that nothing can get in there, and even setting it in a large tub with a little bit of water in the bottom to keep ants away, and that way it can drain. It can take its time draining. All right, so once you've got the honey squeezed out, it can it'll take a little while to drain through the strainer. You can pull that out and scrape out the honeycomb, the leftover honey, the leftover crushed wax, and put in a fresh piece. After it's drained a little bit, just come along, give it a couple more turns, keep that pressure on there. And then when you're ready to take it out, just reverse the ratchet. Take off the pressure. That's about all you have to do. And then you can pull out your pins. I do not recommend using threaded bolts. They are a pain to get in and out. And you just lift that off. Take out your little end cap there. Let's see. Then use your hive tool. Well, have foundationless comb, which is what I used the first time. You might have a plastic foundation, or you might have a Pureco frame like this. With one of these, what you got to do is you just got to scrape it out like that. Which is just another step, which is one of the reasons that I am switching over to foundationless, because they build new, if you're going to crush and strain, they have to build new comb regardless, and frankly it just seems, okay, there we go, that's the neighborhood kids see me doing this, we're gonna right. Go. That is a lot of honey in there.